Hello, this is a video to help explain the resource that you'll need in order to do the research. I'm not going to go over any of the research problems in this video or any kind of anything associated to a specific problem at this point. Just want to go over how to get access to the research. First, I'm going to start out with explaining why. You see, GAAP accounting, or generally accepted accounting principles, it started to get developed around the 30s, a long time ago, right? In order to deal with some economic downfalls that they had. You've probably heard of the Great Depression, right? Well, when there were some issues that were going on in the economy, and they needed to address them through the government, through the accounting community, and through the business community. And I guess that's the shortest way to explain it, why they came about with this. So in the beginning, in the 30s, the AICPA created this Committee on Accounting Procedures. They were creating GAAP. Later on, the AICPA switched over and changed that to the Accounting Principles Board, and they created GAAP up until about the 70s. And then about that time, they switched to the WEAK Committee, which recommended using a completely separate organization called FASB. So FASB is not under the AICPA, and FASB continues to make finalized GAAP decisions to this day. Now the thing is that FASB, when they came into, I guess you would call it, power, they didn't throw everything out, and start from scratch like erase a big, chalkboard of GAAP and start from the beginning. What they did was they kept everything that was there, and then they just developed it, made changes as things developed over the years as needed. And that's a pretty good idea. I mean, that kept consistency and helped businesses move forward without having any kind of big problems or major issues with the accounting of their organization. Anyhow, but the problem was that research for accountants especially was pretty cumbersome. I was doing research before the internet, so in order to do the research, you needed to kind of know which books to go into, which source. Did you want to go and get information from the Committee on Accounting Procedures? Did you need information from the Accounting Principles Board, or did you need it from newer stuff from the FASB? That was all kind of alleviated with the creation of what they call FASB Codification, which is a database that FASB had developed, and it allows us to have all this information and more at your fingertips, right? So how do we get access to that? So that's what we're going to talk about now. So first of all, you can find FASB Codification by going to Google and typing in FASB Codification, or you can just go to asc.fasb.org. And once you select that, it takes you to something that looks like this. And what you can do to get your account is you want the free account. You don't want to pay for it. No, nobody does. And so if you go to Order, Professional, or Basic View, the Basic View is the free view. So if you select that, it kind of gives you the difference between the Professional view, and if you scroll down, it gives you the Basic view. There's a lot of little nifty things that the Professional view has, but what the only main difference is it's got a searchable keyword type box that allows you to search the codification in the Professional view, and it doesn't have that in the Basic view. But all of the information is still there. It doesn't give you less of the GAAP information. You have complete access to GAAP. It just doesn't have that search box. And although that might seem like it's important, I'm going to hopefully convince you that it's a good thing that you don't have access to it. When you select this, it should take you here. Let's see. So here we go. You put your email address in. It's going to ask you some, basic information like, a password and, who you are, your name, and all that. And then you just submit it, and you're in. At that point, you come to a screen that looks something like this. So this is all of GAP over here in the codification area, and this is other things. We won't need them for now, and they've got some articles and whatnot. A lot of information here. So this is the box I was telling you about that won't work in the basic view. So you can either try putting in, one of the actual codes. So 740-25-10. Go to. It says no, won't work. Okay, payable won't work. So you might think, well, that's really terrible. But the truth is, one of the things about when I was learning how to research is that what we had to do was really think through it through the issue before we the problem that we're dealing with before we actually went and did the research, instead of just going in and jumping in and typing something into some kind of a search box like we have now. We had to actually think about it, and we had to really iron out the issue, because unless you iron out the issue, you're not going to be able to research very well. I don't care if you have a search box or not. I know we're used to throwing stuff into a Google box and getting information. I just did it a few seconds ago, but the truth is, Google tells you what it wants to tell you. What we want to know is, as an accountant, doing research for our client or for our organization, what information, which of the codification is going to address our issue. And so, if you don't think about the issue first, you're going to really run into trouble. I explain it sometimes by saying, if you think about those old-timey encyclopedias in the old days, right? I used to use them when I was a kid, and you might have used them or seen them yourself. They were books, and usually the books were A through Z, right? So if you want to do a research project on trains, for your elementary school, then you would go to the T's and you would look up trains, and it would talk all about the trains, right? Whereas now you go to Google and you type in trains, and just think about all the stuff you're getting. You're getting advertisements, you're getting all kinds of things that have really nothing to do with what you need for your research assignment. And so that's what you could end up with if you just had access just to this box here. You would get a lot of results that had very little to do with what the actual issue is. Think about, I typed in payable. Think about how many times payable comes up in all kinds of different issues. So you really got to iron out what the issue is before you really start. And once you do that, you're going to find that this works really well. You go to the once you figure out what issue you want to deal with, you go to it, and information comes up, and you've got access to it. Now let's see. There you go. Let's go to overall, because that's usually the easiest one to deal with. So, and you got gap right there. All right. So the only other thing I'd like to mention is what will help you with this is also to read the chapter in the accounting and research auditing book, if you have it. That chapter is only the accounting and research book tells you about a lot of different accounting research, not just financial accounting and codification. So just go to the section where it talks about codification, and you can look through that, or you can go through the book, the textbook. In chapter 1, there's a section on FASB accounting standards and codification. It's like 3 pages. You can read those. And then finally, if you go at the home page where it says what's new, if you come down, they have how to use the codification, so there's help there. So those are just the different areas that you might want to address and just kind of get comfortable with. It's going to take you a little bit of time when you first start out. You just have to be patient, and believe me, it does get better. It does start making more sense, but it's not going to happen with one project or one paper. It's going to take time.